Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we have some power tools, as you can see. Mostly Milwaukee, only 2 Snap-on in there. I've had all of these for quite a while now. I want to say the last thing I have purchased that was a power tool would have been these two, and that would have been about a year and a half ago, I'd say. So everything I've had a good time or chance to use, get a pretty good feel for how well they really are and how well they work. With that being said, I'll kind of jump right into it. It's a kind of a comparison to Snap-on versus Milwaukee, but obviously I have way more Milwaukee than I do Snap-on. However, I've obviously owned these two, and I've owned the long neck 3/8 ratchet from Snap-on. So it would have been, this guy 3/8 and longer. I ended up trading that one in for this, and I got this for like 90 bucks after trade-in, which I thought was a pretty good deal. I really didn't expect anything that low. I was going to keep it, but I just found that 3/8 long neck ratchet I wasn't really using. Well, I was using it pretty often because it's the only one I had, but just the actual long neck part of it wasn't really that great. Didn't get much of an advantage out of it. I think it was more of a disadvantage most of the time. But anyways, let's start with the Milwaukee. Let's go up from over here, the 1/2-inch impact. This guy, and this is something that's kind of with Milwaukee tools in general. They're all over the place. You can get them in different kind of combo packs. I just would never pay full price for them, not because they're not worth full price. Is there just always a cheaper route you can get them. They go on sale a lot. Home Depot has the special buys, and then they have the special buy of the day. So if you check their website every day, they'll have something on deal. And that's, if you do find Milwaukee, it's not every day that they're on sale. It's usually a pretty good deal there, and that's when I bought this on. I paid $200, came with this and a battery. I didn't have an M18 charger, so I did have to go and buy a charger, which I think I bought one on Amazon for 40 bucks. I do believe the warranties, though, from Milwaukee, if you buy it through Amazon, are different than Home Depot. But so about $240 plus whatever taxes there would have been is what I paid for this guy. It looks pretty clean in this video, but that's because I wiped him down not too long ago with the tub of towels. I don't know if you guys ever use those, but they work wonders. It's pretty awesome. It does mostly everything I need it to do. And this kind of goes for all of the Milwaukee impacts, like this one over here. They don't like extensions. That's the biggest complaint, is like if you want to use it, sometimes you got a long extension on there. You got to get it. That's when I have a problem with it not breaking something loose that you need to. I still have an air impact at work that I tend to use a lot more than this one now, so it doesn't see a whole lot of use. A few reasons for that. One is, the biggest, nicest part about having an electric tool is not having the air hose. But I still have to check. I check tire pressures on every car that comes in the shop, so I'm still pulling the air hose out majority of the time. So it's already out. The air impact does work better than this one. It's a little smoother action. It's lighter. And since the air hose is already out, it's not like I save myself the time of having to pull an air hose out. And if I'm using 1/2-inch impact, I'm not really in a tight spot, so the air hose isn't necessarily in the way too often. Plus the 1/2-inch air impact I have at Ingersoll Rand, which I kind of did wish I brought, but I didn't bring it from work. It's smaller than this. Complaints on it. Like I said, the extension thing, it doesn't work in any situation, so it can't replace my air tools, in my opinion. And that kind of goes for really any of these electronic products, except for the ratchets. Air ratchets might work better. I really haven't used them too much in my career. When I first started out, I had like a Harbor Freight one, but the electric ratchet game was already kind of where it's at now, and I have no desire to ever use an air ratchet again. Probably never buy one. They might be a little bit stronger, but they're loud. They have the hose. When that bolt gets tight, it's a knuckle buster for sure. So these, I've never had an air ratchet since then. Probably won't buy one. So these, I do believe, replace those. Like I said with the torque thing, the electric ratchets, in my opinion, just haven't quite replaced them. Now, reason why, get off track there a little bit, the reason why I don't use this one too often is because it's a lot heavier. A lot of mechanics probably have some joint problems. For me, it's my elbows tend to hurt. So when I was at Mazda, which I am now, but it worked pretty well, and I was using it more than my air impacts, like for tire rotations or anything like that. I would use it quite often when I went to Dodge, when we work on the bigger trucks, and again, this is for things like tires. When you have, bigger lug nuts, they're 22 millimeters over there on all the trucks. There's more of them. This thing's a little, it's jerkier when you hit it. It wants to kind of go like that. It's not as smooth when you are breaking lug nuts off and everything. So I kind of just stopped using it. Unless it was something where it was real quick, where I had already looked at the car as an upsell, I've already adjusted the tire pressures. I just want to pull a tire off real quick to, do something or whatever. Engine mounts. I'll still use it for engine mounts really quickly. I'm doing like a time recovery to get the mount out of the way. But other than that, I mainly use it at home. It's great for home. Like if you want one of these for your house because you don't have an air compressor or whatever, or don't want to bring your air stuff home from work, or if you're just a DIY guy, great for house. Definitely love it. I've never used the Snap On 1/2-inch impact. I do have a coworker that works here part-time. He works full-time in another shop, and he was skeptical of these, because me and a couple of my coworkers kind of all got them at the same time. One guy got it, and the next one had to have it after that kind of thing. And then he ended up getting one because it went on sale when I bought it for $200. So he picked it up. He ended up selling his Snap-on one. He says the Milwaukee one is just as good in his opinion, or at least good enough that the Snap-on's not worth the $800, $900 or whatever it is now. I'm not quite sure what the price is. My other coworker has a Mac Tools one, which most of you probably know is DeWalt. The batteries are interchangeable. I don't know if the internals on them are the same or not. I'd imagine they probably are. I've seen him use it, breaking subframe bolts loose. He has the same problem. So, some of them you have to get a long extension in, and I've seen him either have to borrow my air impact or break them loose with a breaker bar first. They seem pretty comparable. I've had guys using these for axle nuts, and if you don't really get on there with it and you just tighten it down, we've had axle nuts come back loose. I've seen that happen with guys using them. So that's my point is it doesn't replace the air impact, but I definitely would still give that a 4 out of 5 stars. Honestly, I would say 5 if it wasn't for the whole lack of impact on extensions. There we go. Anyways, now back to this one here. Love this guy, Stubby Impact. It works for the majority of everything I want it to use it for. If I'm going to pick it up to grab it because I think I should be using a 3/8 impact on it, it does most of it. Every once in a while there's something super tight and it's, has a hard time getting off. Then I have my Ingersoll Rand 3/8 impact as well. So I have a 1/2-inch and I have the 3/8 equivalent air, one of those. Sort of the same thing with the extensions, not as bad. But if you're ever doing something where you kind of stick underneath the car, like bell housing bolts or something, they're on super tight. Sometimes it has a problem getting those off. The air does work better for that. This is where I'm going to start tying into the Snap-on a little bit because I got this 3/8 one. I think this was the first one I bought out of all of these. I can't remember if it was this one or that 3/8 long neck ratchet, but I'm pretty sure it's this one because it came with 2 of the Snap-on batteries and a charger. And I want to say I paid around $400 for it. I do love this tool. However, it's nice to have. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm not going to sell it, but I would never buy it again. It's more torque than, like, say, this one is here, this 1/4-inch quick release one. But it doesn't, I can't really do brakes with this thing. It doesn't break a lot of caliper bracket bolts loose. Especially if they're the 17 millimeters. Don't even do it. I don't think I've ever had to do it. On Mazdas, you got, rear ones are about 14 millimeters. The fronts are 17s. I don't think it's ever broken the 17 millimeter ones loose. And it's a very expensive. I think I paid $400 for it with 2 batteries, so it wasn't that bad. But my computer over here, if I can get to load. I went on to Snap-on's website. I think they've updated a lot of these tools now. They're not that old, but currently tool only. That's tool only, like I said. Probably want to wait till it comes up in the sale with a kit, but it's $307, and Snap-on prices right now are kind of high. But $307, $307, I will not pay $307 for that. It's not one where I can just go and be like, if I got a side job or if I had grab absolutely whatever I needed tools, it's not the one that's going in my bag. It would be this one, just because this is way stronger than that. It was way cheaper. I think it says right now. Here, let's see if I got it pulled up over here. Tool only on the Home Depot's website it's on the special buy, so supposedly it's on sale. It's $199 for this one. They want $307 for it. Sometimes the stubby's a little inconvenient, but you can just stick a short extension on there and you get that, more reach like this, so it's not really a problem. But I got this one and this 3/8 fuel ratchet for, I want to say, yeah, it's like $300. And that's what I mean by Milwaukee, where you kind of got to buy them in deals and stuff like that, because $200 for this one. I think this is like $200 also. I could be wrong. I don't have the price up for this one, but it was $300 for that. I don't think it came with any batteries, though. I think they were just 2 tool onlys. but I have a million Milwaukee batteries. You can buy them all these kits. You get a bunch of them. But this one, like I said, I like having it, but once this thing goes out, that's probably going to be it for it. I wouldn't replace it. Moving on over to the electric ratchets, there's the Snap On. Like I said, I traded in that one ratchet and got this for, I think he said $80 or $90, less than $100. Like, it was two only. I already had these two batteries, so I didn't buy any batteries with it. The batteries are kind of where they really get you, even with Snap On and Milwaukee. They get kind of expensive because these larger M12 batteries are nice to have for tools like these because you can stand them up. You know, these ones are just going to fall right over. Maybe not there, but this guy, I absolutely love it. This is a 5 out of 5 stars on the 1/4-inch ratchet. Now, if I pull up the price on their website right now, I'm actually shocked. It says $341.95. It's not exactly the same part number when I did shirt stitch one. I mean, I know this is a special edition, 100th anniversary. It wasn't coming up. I thought I heard somewhere where Snap-on's kind of upgraded their 14 4-volt tools, so they might have. But this is something at $340. That's kind of a lot. I don't know how much Milwaukee's 1/4-inch is. I know they just recently updated theirs because like this head's kind of big on these ones. Does get in the way a little bit. But anyways, this thing's awesome. I want to say it has more torque, and I could be wrong on paper, but it feels like it does. It's faster than this Milwaukee 3/8. This is a 3/8 non-fuel. And this isn't bad to own if you're like to keep at the house or something. This is what I do. I actually took this home. I don't keep it at work anymore because this is something that's never going to break much loose. You know, usually have to break bolts by hand, which is kind of, you know, what some people say is the standard procedure. But this one and this one will break some fasteners loose without having to do anything. But back to that being said, you know, it's pretty compact on the end. It's I feel like built pretty well, pretty solid. The thing about the Milwaukee ratchets, you know, it's all plasticky up to about here. I feel like if you were to really pry on this thing, which you're not really supposed to do, it would snap in half. You know, it's not. This thing feels pretty sturdy all the way through. I've inked on it quite a bit. I know the guy sold it to me, a Snap On. His sales pitch, I want to say, was like you can put 120 foot-pounds or something like that of torque on these. I'm not going to really be doing that because it's a 1/4-inch ratchet. I don't ever really have to break anything loose by hand with this one. I mean, usually since it's 1/4-inch, it's like 8, 10, 12 millimeter fasteners that I'm using on. $340. If I don't have to buy a battery, I would consider buying this, but I'd definitely look at Milwaukee's 1/4-inch ones just to see how much they are. If this one were to go out. Now, these two, this kind of goes for what my experiences in Milwaukee is. If you're going to be using it for, you know, everyday stuff for professional use, I'd get the fuel. It's night and day difference. I have two drills. This one I brought home. This one came in a kit. I can't remember what I bought it in. I think me and my coworker bought a kit. He needed something out of it. I needed some batteries, and we split the kit in half. But the fuel stuff there to that drill is a massive difference. Same thing with this to that. And then I had this one in non-fuel also that I sold to my coworker for like $50 or something. Kind of wish I kept it for here. But the fuel stuff is way better. It's definitely worth the money. It's definitely, you know, Milwaukee's not only a better value than a lot of Snap-on stuff, but it's good. Like, it gets the job done, in my opinion. As far as electric tools go, it's not one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's not that great. I wish it was better or something like that. You know, it's pretty solid. But that's the fuel stuff. You know, like this guy I have no complaints with. I mean, the head's kind of big, but it spins pretty fast. Some people don't like this style trigger at all. I like it, but I don't mind it at all. You know, one thing that's different between Snap-on and Milwaukee is Snap-on, for you guys that don't know, there's your grease fitting right there, so you can actually service these. Milwaukee, I don't see one anywhere. And from my understanding, you can't at all, unless you actually took the head apart, re-grease them. But I don't mind these. I like that you can lock the switch on it, so when you stick it somewhere, you know, it's not going to hit. These don't have that. I used to hate this style trigger. Now I kind of like it. It's a little bit quicker. But it took me a minute to get used to that. You know, like I said, this one's not bad. This is like a speed ratchet. You pretty much are going to have to break everything loose by hand. The non-fuel 3/8. That battery's dead. Put that on the charger. You know, the drills, not too much to say about the drills. It's a nice drill. it did everything I needed to at Mazda, except for when I went to Dodge and I was starting to do a little heavier drilling. There's like a recall where you're putting a bracket on the frame, so you got to drill in a lot of metal. Or when I was doing the gooseneck or fifth wheel installations, we're using a pretty big hole saw. That thing killed batteries, didn't really want to cut well, so that's when I actually had to go out and pick up an air drill. That works pretty well. But this does, like I said, I'm not doing too much drilling anymore. Now I'm back at Mazda. Trying to keep this video a little bit shorter than it's getting, but on prices, like this 1/2-inch impact, if you go on to Home Depot's website, it shows it's $279 right now. Again, it's a special buy. It says normally $329. I'd pay $329 for this. $279 definitely. I don't think you're going to see this for $200 again. I did buy it a few years ago. Prices kind of up on everything. Milwaukee, or excuse me, Snap On, it says $341 for that. That's up there. I'm sure it's better to buy it in a kit with some batteries. I've had these batteries for probably about 4 years now. I think that's probably how long I've had this. These might go dead a little bit quicker, but all these tools, to be honest, I don't have to charge very often, except for the drills. The drills shoot through batteries pretty quick. Especially the smaller ones. Like, what do I have on there right now? 3 amp hour. So that's actually my bigger ones. That's 3, that's 4. That one's 6. And then I have some that are like 2 or 1.5, I believe. I think I keep the 1.5 ones here. Yeah, those are all 2. Yeah, would you look at that? The one that was dead is a 1.5. But Milwaukee, you can buy these in kits all the time. Split them with somebody if they need some or what have you. That's pretty much that for this video. I like all these, all the ones I have, all the Snap-on stuff I have. I like I said, this one's great for underhood work and stuff like that, but it's just not that strong. It's really like I don't want to say glorified like 1/4-inch gun, because I feel like it'll do obviously anything a 1/4-inch gun you'd want to do. It does some of the 3/8 stuff, but it's not like a true 3/8 fastener remover, so to speak. But it's nice. Everyone that I've had that's had it loves it. It's just not a super torque. And Snap-on does make 2 of these. This is the 14-4. I don't remember what their other volt batteries that they take are, but it's much bigger. But that one's just like huge. It's not as big as a 1/2-inch, but it's definitely, from what I remember, it being a pretty big gun. And when an automotive, I like things a little more compact and get into place. And they excuse me, Milwaukee makes this one an M18. My neighbor has it. He doesn't work in automotive, but he works in construction. And I was borrowing it one day, or I wasn't even borrowing it. I was helping him with the car, and I was using it, and I'm like, this thing has a ton of torque. I didn't think I needed that much torque for stuff I'd be using this for, but it made me kind of want it. I would imagine, could be wrong, I actually like to look at those numbers, that the M18 version of this is probably pretty comparable to this one. Don't know what the price is, but I imagine it's still a lot cheaper than this one is. So that's something I wouldn't mind looking into. But I kind of have most of the Milwaukee stuff I want. They're not super cheap. Like the other thing I would do, we can be keeping an eye out to pick up one day is the right angle die grinder. The only problem with that is it's like $199 all the time. It's like I paid $120 for 2 of my Mac Air die grinders, a straight and the right angle one, and it's just not worth the $200. But it'd be nice to have a die grinder with that the air hose was eliminated in that case. But yeah, this is pretty much all of them. I don't think I had anything else at work that I use. These are all my electric power tools. I have some cutters and die grinders that I use air for, and then I got my Ingersoll Rand Air 1/2-inch impact, and then the 3/8 version of that one. Those things are awesome. Ingersoll Rand is definitely my to-go brand for air tools. Milwaukee is probably the brand I'm going to be buying most of my stuff for. I like the Snap-on ones. I know it's a massive debate you always see on the internet, Snap-on versus Milwaukee. I think overall the Snap-on stuff is probably better than Milwaukee, but it's just that price difference and the fact that Milwaukee works just fine. I kind of want to try out the new stuff because, like I said, I seen just I want to say a couple days ago that they have newer versions of these, the smaller head. I don't know how much the long neck 3/8 one is there or the 1/4 Milwaukee, but it's probably something I would pick up next, between that and that die grinder. But I'd like to try them out. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you would like.